Hey, it's Jared with State of Tech. I haven't been wearing my Apple Watch. I have an Apple Watch 7, it's right here, and I haven't been wearing it because I got a new device and I really like it, and I'm going to talk about it today. It is the Garmin Fenix 7X Sapphire Solar. There are a few different versions of this watch, and of course Garmin has a huge amount of wearables, but I went with this device because of the features, and I wanted to talk about it and compare it to my experience with the Apple Watch. So Garmin device here, I'm going to basically be giving you most of my personal experiences with this device. I'm not going to stack specs, although there are a few features and specs that I will talk about that really set this device apart. So the Apple Watch, let's start talking about the Apple Watch first. I have had every version of the Apple Watch, and I do like the Apple Watch. I think Apple has made a real interesting device and has ushered in a lot for the wearables out there, and a lot of devices have come about, maybe even including a lot of Garmin's devices, because the Apple Watch has paved the way. Of course, Apple not being the first wearable device out there, but Apple making them popular as they have with many of their products. And so I've always gone with an Apple Watch, and I've always gone with a steel or titanium Apple Watch because I want the stronger display and more dent resistant body on the Apple Watch. But over the last several years, I mean, really, it's probably been like 4 years since I've been very excited at all about an Apple Watch. Yes, when the EKG option and different things like that came to the Apple Watch, I thought, well, that's kind of neat, but it's not super necessary for a person like me who is relatively healthy and doesn't have any issues, doesn't need to be checking his EKG all the time, and even understands that it's not a full picture of heart health anyways. It is nice to have that information, and one of the things I do like is metrics. I like information, and the Apple Watch provides me with more information than as if I wasn't wearing an Apple Watch. So I've always welcomed it, and I've enjoyed having an Apple Watch. But the style of the Apple Watch has not changed. It still, to me, looks like an old iPod or something. I mean, it just is not a super attractive device. Everyone has one, and it's just not a very interesting device to me anymore. So I started looking at Garmin devices, and you can see I've got this Garmin device on my wrist right here, and I'm just kind of toggling through some stuff, and I'll try my best to do that while I talk. This device looks like a watch, which I like. I like the style of watches. The Apple Watch, it does what a watch does, and it goes on your wrist. That's where a watch goes, but it doesn't have any watch features. I love the watch style, the body of the watch, typically the way that a watch looks. I know there's a term for people who are into watches. I am definitely into watches. I'm not a collector by any means, and I haven't really worn anything but an Apple Watch since, but I like a watch that looks like a watch. So one of the things that I decided I wanted this device for was its ability to track more things than an Apple Watch does. This device, this Garmin device, has so many built-in features as far as sports and what it can track and what it can connect to that it makes the Apple Watch look like a beginner's device. Now, it doesn't have workouts that integrate with Apple TV and stuff like that like Apple does, but I'm not a fan of those anyways. I've tried a few of those with the Apple Fitness classes, and they're just not for me. I'm more of a, go get on the treadmill, go do a workout on my own, go to the gym, put on some music and get into it. I'm not so much a group fitness or even video group fitness type of person when it comes to my fitness. So with this device, I just wanted more features as far as tracking and capabilities. So I went with this device because it has an insane battery life. Like, this watch will last on a charge. It could last up to 30 days on a charge, which is insane. I'm averaging about 18 days on a charge because I will use fitness modes, fitness tracking modes, and of course that's going to be a little bit more battery intensive. I also have, I use it as an alarm to wake me up in the morning, and some notifications come through periodically throughout the day. So it's going to have a little bit less of a battery life. But the solar edition also allows the device to be charged using solar from the sun. So the sun comes in, hits the display, and it will slowly charge. Of course, this is a very small solar panel, so it's not really going to charge as fast. I'm not done with plugging my watch in to charge. Like, I'm still gonna have to plug it in to charge, but I'm gonna have to do that a lot less as long as I'm outside and the face of the watch is getting exposed to sun. Super cool. It has 2 buttons over on the right and 3 buttons over on the left. I can press this button over here and I can get into a workout mode, and I can also scroll through other workouts. It has navigation. I can track my runs or my walks or my hikes if I'm outside. It's got maps, and I can also connect it to the Connect IQ store, which has additional apps, watch faces, and all of that stuff as well. So if I press this button over on the right, double tap it, I get a light. This is probably one of the coolest features of this watch that was unexpected because it wasn't something that I was looking for. I saw it when I put it on and I thought, oh, that looks like a light. And so I looked up how to turn it on. It's just a double tap of the light button and it turns it on. And that has been a game changer when I get up early in the morning to go downstairs and get a workout in, and I need to grab a pair of socks. I don't want to turn on any lights and wake up my wife. I just a little double tap and I've got basically a headlamp essentially right on my wrist, and it's pretty bright and it lights up the area, and then I can turn it off and boom, it's just a really neat little feature. If I press this button once, it just wakes and sleeps the screen. It does have an always on display, and the always on display does not use much power, and then tapping and having it illuminate, of course, will make it easier for me to see the display. On the default watch face, I get the time, the date, I get my weather, high and low. I have an alarm set, I have my heart rate, I have altitude, and my step counter. And of course, this watch supports multiple other watch faces, many of which are free. Actually, majority of them are, but you can also go into the Connect IQ store and download some as well. So if I press and hold, here I have a bunch of quick action items that I can toggle through. This is the back button here, so if I press and hold, I can toggle through them with this bottom left-hand button, which is down, and then I can use the menu button for up, and it rotates through all of these different quick actions here so that I can quickly access things like music controls, or if I've loaded a credit card in here, I can use tap to pay with it, using Garmin Pay, I think is what they're calling it. So if I press and hold, I can get access to my menu where I could change things like my watch faces, clocks, go into the settings, and all of that stuff. So there is an awful lot that this device has, including user profiles. It's pretty crazy, but it's feature packed is what it is, and it looks like a watch, and it has a very long battery life, and the Apple Watch just does not have that. So my Apple Watch experience hasn't necessarily been bad. Like, I really do like the Apple Watch. It's a great step counter. It does a decent job at activity tracking. I haven't had any problems there. Things that are annoying is really just trying to keep the battery charged. If you want to wear your Apple Watch to sleep, then you have to be pretty strategic. For me, what that looked like was an hour or so before I went to bed, I would put my Apple Watch on the charger, and then it would be pretty close to 100% by the time I was going to go to sleep. So I would then put it on, and it would, of course, track my sleep and do all of those things and wake me up in the morning using an alarm. I would do a workout, then go put it back on the charger as I shower and get ready for the day so that it would be back at 100% and ready so that it would last through the rest of the day. That's a lot to deal with for a watch when I also have to think about charging my smartphone and keeping that thing going. So the smartphone, of course, is a given. We're going to charge that, but the Apple Watch, that also kind of became a little bit of a frustration. So let's talk about the app. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Garmin Connect app, and this is the information that I see whenever I bring the app and have a workout. I have my heart rate and what's called my body battery, stress level, the intensity minutes from the day, step counter, floors, how many steps, staircase steps I've gone up, calories in and out if I'm tracking that, a sleep tracker, a sleep score, and then it also measures my respiration. So I really like the way that the information is laid out here. I don't like the way that the information is displayed in Apple's Health app. It's just information that is not organized well, and it's really kind of a pain in the butt to see, and to me it's not providing feedback to help me better manage my day and my sleep, whereas this app is. So you can see I had a workout, just went for a walk on the treadmill this morning while listening to an audiobook. This would show me my heart rate, both resting and my high heart rate for the day, which includes sleep. The body battery is an interesting score to me. It measures your activity and your heart rate and your respiratory and tries to put together a picture of your overall stress for the day. And it gives you a body battery score similar to what you would have with your phone. If you use your phone more throughout the day, the battery is going to be less. It's going to be lower at the end of the day. And the same goes for our body, but we don't always pay attention to that. It could be a very long day emotionally and stressfully, and we just don't feel it because we weren't physically active, and vice versa. We could be very physically active and just not know necessarily why we're feeling tired at the end of the day, and this gives me a visual cue. Usually there is a number there, but it's not displaying right now for some reason. My stress right here, it shows my stress levels for the day, intensity, and these are goals. These bars are goals that I would want to try and fill up by the end of the day. My steps, my floors, my calories in and out. This works along with any other app that tracks your calories. So if you have a food tracking app like MyFitnessPal that you use, that works, and it would connect here. I don't track my food right now. It's probably something that I need to do. Sleep tracking is good. The information in here is useful to me, especially the awake, and just trying to figure out how do I maximize the amount of deep sleep that I'm getting so that this bar fills up without just having to increase the amount of time that I spend sleeping. And then an overall sleep score, which is good as well, trying to get that sleep score up to as close to 100%. Then it shows a recap of yesterday's information. There are lots of challenges you can compete against other people in. Shows you a calendar of your workouts, and so all of these different bars are basically achieving different goals, and when they're solid, it means you achieved it. When it's shaded, it means that you did not achieve it. There's a little bit of a news feed with information here as well. And this app syncs with other fitness app services like Strava and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different apps that it syncs with. So I really like that because they did a great job with that app. Now, they did such a good job that I actually decided to upgrade my Garmin. So, of course, this Fenix 7X is the one that I'm reviewing because I think this is the one that most people are interested in. But what I ended up doing is upgrading and getting the Tactix 7 Garmin, which is essentially, I mean, it looks pretty much the same. As you can see here, side by side, both of these devices pretty much look the same. I do think that maybe the Tactix is a little bit thicker, but I'm not really too sure there. It does come with a different band, so we have a nylon band instead of a silicone band. There are times where I think the silicone band is definitely more comfortable than the nylon band. The nylon band will withstand more elements, and I think it's much better with when you're sweaty, but it's just not as comfortable of a watch band. These watch bands can be changed. Garmin sells additional watch bands for their watches, and so I can change these out and put different watch bands on there. And there are third-party watch bands as well that I could change out. But what I like about this Tactix watch, and I'll just spend a second on it, is that it has aviation features. I'm a student pilot working on getting my pilot's license, and it has some aviation features which I think made it more useful for me to be able to use a GPS on the watch as I'm flying, and I think that that's a really neat feature. Otherwise, this watch doesn't really have anything else that the Fenix 7X Sapphire Solar device has. And as I mentioned, there are other devices of the Fenix 7 that are not Sapphire and not Solar, and so depending on your price point and what features you find useful, you may want to try a different version. The charging port is right on the back, very easy, and like I said, almost 30-day battery life, and so you're easily going to get 15 days of battery life or longer, probably well into 20 days of battery life. You'll almost forget where you put the charger, so make sure that you don't do that. So if you've been thinking about something else besides an Apple Watch, I highly recommend considering a Garmin device. One of these Garmin watches are, they give you the watch look. These watches are beefy and they come in different sizes, so you don't have to go with a watch as large as this. But if you're kind of tired of the Apple Watch, I think a Garmin device might just be for you. So I've got links down in the description below for you to check out. If you have any questions at all, I'll do my best to answer those down in the comment section below. But give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel here on State of Tech to be notified when I put out new videos. And I hope to see you back in another one soon. Take care.